Hey everyone, Robert here. I've got some bad news and some worse news, unfortunately. The bad news is we couldn't find the time to get together to record this week. And the worst news is that means we had to dig in through our archives, and all we could find was this Naruto spoiler cast. So, sorry. No, I'm just kidding. This is actually a really fun episode. It's about 90 minutes of three nerds rambling about what they think they remember from Naruto. So if that sounds up your alley, check it out, listen, hit that like and subscribe button. I don't know. No, this is something we recorded way back, way before we started doing quote unquote proper episodes of Everything in Poderation. It was kind of like our test run. It was our let's get our feet wet again because we haven't podcasted together in a while. And it was a lot of fun, if not maybe a little bit rough around the edges. Mic quality isn't as great as it usually is. There were maybe a few moments was a little... it's just us getting back into the groove of things. But, maybe in some ways it'll help you kind of see what the art of podcasting is like, how it grows and evolves, and also just see how dumb we are and how much we remember or don't from Naruto. So we hope you enjoy. We will be back next week with a new episode of Everything in Pod, of course. And until then, keep practicing your Kage no Bunshins and believe it! Hello everyone, welcome to Everything in Poderation, episode 0, because sometimes the internet can be too much. I'm Robert Scarpanino, and I fucking hate Naruto.
I'm Daily Wilhelm, and at one point my username was Akatsuki Kitsune, if that tells you anything.
Hi, I'm Colin, and I'm an Itachi stan.
Oh, God.
Yes! Same!
So... this is episode 0 of our brand new podcast. We really don't know what we're going to do here. I have a document pulled up that has Naruto Spoilercast at the top of it and nothing else except for a GIF of, I think, Itachi. So
it is a chibi PNG of Itachi. Thank you very much.
I didn't realize he uses PNG jutsu to do this. So what we're gonna do today, as part of our getting back into the podcast game, we're just gonna talk a lot about Naruto for some reason. So warning now, if you haven't seen all of Naruto or read all of it and care, probably don't keep listening, but who cares?
Also, it's been like out and done for years. Also, we're not going to talk about Boruto because Boruto's fucking garbage.
Bort.
Okay, I might have a only slightly differing opinion about Boruto. I mean, the name Boruto and the fact, and like him himself, like Naruto's progeny, is trash. The show has some merits, though. Some.
Okay, I'm going to leave that mostly to you, but I mean, right now we're going to be talking about, our pitch for an anime about Boruto's dad.
Right.
Yes.
Right. That perhaps is my favorite thing to come out of.
They should make that.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing to come out of Naruto is like calling all the characters like Sarada's dad, Boruto's dad, Naruto's rival.
No.
Oh man.
So I think a good way to start this off is to maybe go around our virtual table here because, it's the end times and we should all be social distancing. To go around and just kind of give a quick little brief summary of what Naruto meant to you and why we are the foremost experts to talk about Naruto for like an hour or however long this is going to take. Daily, let's kick it off with you because I know you practice jutsus in real life at one point in your life. So,
oh my god, that's how I made a very good friend by seeing his jutsu skills on the playground in like 3rd grade. Tristan, you're out there, and you were like, he was going full speed. Like, I can't do them anymore. I used to have it memorized, like the hand jutsu, but he was going full speed, and I was like, this kid's cool. We're going to be friends. And then we were friends, and the next week, I got detention from recess because I brought my plastic Naruto kunai and shuriken, which they sold to children, which is questionable. Because that's what's going to happen is they're going to want to play ninja at recess, and that's what I did for like ever.
Can I stop you? Please, for the love of God, tell me you wore the headband.
Oh, hell yeah. I was that kid. I was one of, like, I say this, like, being able to look back unabashedly now, but I was, like, a terrible weeb. I wore the headbands. I wore goggles for a while after I graduated from the headbands. I had all the Naruto merch. I was all about Naruto. I would read the manga. I would watch the anime. For a while, I was like, I can't watch any other anime because that'd be a betrayal to Naruto, even though I had the interest there.
That is how TV shows work. I remember back when I was really into Friends, then I watched an episode of Seinfeld, and the next episode of Friends, I saw Ross barreled the camera, looked at me, and said, "I know what you did."
I don't. Maybe that's what I was afraid of. Like, I didn't want, Kakashi or Naruto to look at me and be like, what have you done? You've betrayed us. You've betrayed the village hidden in the leaves. But yeah, I was way into Naruto. Toward the end there of Shippuden, I stopped watching. I caught back up a couple years ago and watched the whole thing to its, completion. But I still love it so much. But now I can recognize its many flaws and still love it for those flaws.
Yeah, I can understand that. That's like me with Dragon Ball. Colin, what about you? What does Naruto mean to you?
So I grew up with a kid by the name of Masashi Kishimoto. Yeah, he said yeah, I'm writing this Naruto thing, and hey man, can you check it out? And so I was so Naruto was this analog thing to Dragon Ball because I grew up on Dragon Ball, much like a lot of people did. And then I caught wind of Naruto and I was like, yo, this has ninjas and shit. This is dope. So I'm going to watch this. And I ended up binging all the way through it on Netflix when it was on there. And they only had the Japanese dub. So that's how I watched it. That's the only way I can watch it. And the English dub is like, I can't watch the English dub at all.
Believe it.
Believe it. That's all I had on Cartoon Network.
Believe it.
God damn. All the time. But yeah, no, Naruto was a really weird thing because I had plenty of friends that were into Dragon Ball growing up, but I was the only one who was getting into Naruto. And there was another kid in my class who was a closet Naruto fan. Because I caught him doing hand signs in class one day, but I never said anything to him about it. And this was 4th grade, but we kind of just gave each other cool? this look from across the room. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. But no, yeah. I was definitely the kid that was I had some Naruto toys, 100%. I had those toy kunai, though I didn't bring them to school.
I did.
But I did contemplate for a very long time going through I don't know if it was Etsy at the time or I was very convicted. I was set on getting this Itachi anti-leaf village headband that was handcrafted and made of metal. And I remember I told my mom I wanted it, and I think she just kept putting it off because she knew I would embarrass the shit out of myself if I wore something like that to school. So I ended up never getting that headband. I still kind of want one because I still love Itachi and I'm still a weeb. But yeah, so that's pretty much Naruto for me. I actually have never seen all of Shippuden because when I got to Shippuden, I switched over to the manga because I was tired of all the filler.
Fair, totally fair.
And I'm sure we'll come back to filler later. But yeah, And then I finished the manga all the way through. I think chapter 700 was the last one. And yeah, I didn't bother with Bort.
Bort.
Yeah.
Bort.
Yeah.
Nort and his son.
Nart and Bort.
And Bort.
And his best friend Sasuke and his daughter Salad.
Sask.
Susk.
Her name is Sadada. Why is her name Salad?
Salad? Mm-hmm.
Salad.
So I'm a big Pablo Naruto fan. I enjoy the anime very much. I even have a little statue of Naruto.
That is Super Saiyan
Son
Goku.
Goku.
Different,
his blonde,
different spiky-haired blonde.
His blonde hair is very good and very cool. So real talk, I've seen the first episode of Naruto probably 7 times in my life. Didn't watch much beyond that, but I've read enough of it. And I played a few of the video games for some reason. So I have like a vague understanding of, I think, most of the story. And it got to the point where I was reading it again toward like the end of Shippuden, and then lost interest, and then heard, oh, it's about to end. So I was like, I'm just gonna pick up the last 5 chapters and read it till the end. And I think I got the whole Naruto experience by doing that.
Yeah, the end is a choice. I feel like we kind of went over our beginning, but like the end of Naruto Shippuden was, I'm not entirely satisfied with it.
No.
It was like I feel like the reason why I stuck with Naruto for so long and why I can look back really fondly now is because like there's a lot of arcs with really good storytelling and like not pulling any punches and like, oh, here's the twist. But like toward the end there, it was just like, what can we make that's more powerful than this person, than this person, than this person, than this person? And then they were just like, let's fight the fucking moon.
Yeah.
And that was it.
So it was basically
That's shonen.
It was basically like if Kishi took a page out of Tetsuya Nomura's fucking JRPG playbook and was like, yo, like, how do we make this into like the ending boss battle from a JRPG? Because we're going to start throwing phase after phase and character after character at you in this long fucking gauntlet of a last level.
Oh, that's what you meant by the moon phase, because moon has phase.
Sure.
Sure.
The fucking infinite Tsukuyomi and all that bullshit.
Kaguya and like her being a thing.
But seriously,
it's like I feel like he had a plan for like everything except for maybe like the last 200 chapters.
Yeah, it starts to go a little off the rails because we're going to make Toby the bad guy, but wait, he's not actually the bad guy. We're going to make Orochimaru kind of still the bad guy, but also Toby's the bad guy. But now also Madara's coming back for some reason, and then he's like the Sage of Six Paths, but then he like dies, but then becomes the Sage of Six Paths, and then he summons Kaguya. It's a whole fucking mess, dude. That whole, like, the end of the Fourth Ninja War is like a mess. It's a fucking mess.
So I have a pitch for how I think we should structure this story, or of this episode of our podcast. As the foremost Naruto expert on this podcast,
I hate how you say it, by the way.
Pablo Naruto.
Yes,
Naruto.
Naruto. Naruto.
As the foremost expert of the Nart series, I think it might be fun if I go through and recount as much as I can remember, and you all just kind of fill the gaps. And I can promise you there are very wide gaps.
Okay. All right. We can do this.
Fair.
Okay. So do you want to start at the beginning?
Yeah, I think I'll just start with the earliest thing I remember.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so Naruto is sad, lonely outcast boy who has a 9-tailed demon stuck in his body.
Yeah, and if you watch the show, that is beaten into you hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fucking times, in case you didn't get it the first time.
He's an outcast. He's alone. He has no family.
Yeah, he's the ugly duckling.
And in case you forgot, we're going to throw in 5 more flashbacks and then do a flashback within a flashback to make sure you remember.
Da-na-na.
Right.
Like that sad music every time with the flute.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So he's kind of a little shit and vandalizes a lot of stuff, but then he gets a hold of a scroll that gives him the Kage Bunshin, shadow
Kagebu
clone thing.
Shitsu Maltese.
And it's supposed to be like really complicated, but I know it's just like one hand sign and he can like do it really easily, but he's still somehow the only character in the show to do it unless there's like a filler villain I don't give a shit about.
Chakra control and channeling your gates and science. Yeah.
Okay, so the scroll has Jonin. It was either Chunin or Jonin. I'm pretty sure it's Jonin level jutsu in it, and he was tricked into stealing it. And then no one thought that he'd be able to master anything that was in it because it's such a high level jutsu. And then he did, even though that was the one, like making a single clone is what he failed constantly in. But in the moment that his pseudo father figure needed him the most, he was able to make 1,000,000 of himself to beat up this asshole guy.
I don't even remember his name, honestly. Was it Mizuki?
Mizuki Sensei was going to defect from Konoha and betray the village.
Yeah, that's right.
By stealing the scroll.
Man, y'all are a bunch of fucking
nerds. This is just the first episode.
Okay, so then at some point Naruto fights this dude named Zabuza, looks like a shark zombie thing.
I mean, are we just going to skip over the greatest episode of Naruto ever, which is the one where they all try to take Kakashi's mask off?
That is filler, my dude.
But wait, isn't there one where they try to take his bell?
Well, like that was
from him, or is that
I think
like
that was thing? I think that was before the Zabuza arc.
Because that's the test to get into essentially becoming Genin, who go out with a Jonin to train. And the Jonin is Kakashi Sensei, who is tricky.
He's the edgy guy with the headband over his one eye to hide his secret super powerful eye that he stole off of an Uchiha. Is that right?
Yeah, from Obito.
That's it.
Yep.
Who comes back later? I know that. Yeah. Okay, so Zabuza's a thing, and then they all have the Chonin exams. Chonin. The Chonin exams.
Choji exams. It's just Choji.
The Choji
guys. Today we're going to be testing you on the anatomy of Choji and how he can do his expansion jutsu.
So that's basically a tournament arc. Yes. I think.
Wait, are we just going to talk? We're going to skip right over the written tuning exam, which is probably the most intense looking test taking I've ever seen in my entire life. Like Gaara's over here putting up a fucking eyeball to cheat on the test and get other people's answers, and no one notices. Like the proctors are just standing there like, nope, didn't see anything.
And somehow I think Tenten installed mirrors on the ceiling at some point that no one noticed. And is like controlling them with like puppetry, and it's like, anyway, yes, the written tuning exam was way more wild than like all the like knockdown drag out fights in like the Forest of Death, if you ask me. Also, Colin, yes,
yeah, but yes, the tuning exams happened sometime after that because there's like multiple phases because they have the Forest of Death, right, and then they have the room with the fucking the jutsu hands in the background.
There's too many of them, so they're like you need to kill each other a little bit.
Yeah, and that made for moments like Gaara versus Rock Lee, and that's kind of it. I mean, there's other fights, but who cares?
And then I forget if it's that everyone passes this or if that only Neji passes this, but I know there's like at one point Neji becomes better than everyone else, like rank wise. I just don't remember if that's here or later.
Yeah, so
Neji
ends up becoming, I think, the first Jonin out of all the original characters.
No, the first Jonin is Shikamaru.
Wait, is it Shikamaru?
He's the only one that in the end actually passes the tuning exam because he wins his fight in the tournament that's held later, but then they're invaded by the village hidden in the sound and the sand village. So
that was a whole...
But he's the only one that got to finish his fight. That's the
was
whole
that
thing.
Also still part of the tuning exam where they were in that giant like Coliseum and then we see Sasuke versus Gaara and then a few others?
Because it took place like a couple weeks later because they were like, we're not going to make you fight like again after we just made you wipe the floor with each other again. So that's like Naruto had to train up and learn how to fight Neji because
Right.
he's like the genius of like their class.
And then
So yeah, the
Neji
tuning
dies.
exam happens.
Yeah, and then Neji
wait,
dies.
that's a way skip.
That's like way
forward.
down, but I know he dies, so I know it's kind of like, okay, it's hard to
Who's
care
gonna
about
skip
him
all the way
anymore.
to the end? No, fucking what the hell? No, Neji. Well, the crazy thing about Neji and I think is a common thread with a lot of the side characters. I know you've actually seen Shippuden daily, like all of like the anime, and I haven't. So they did a way better job of giving like filler, but also stuff that acted as like more backstory for other side characters. But okay, never mind. Nope,
Apparently not.
That didn't happen.
I'm shaking my
No,
head.
because
in some ways, yes, in lots of ways, no.
Right. Well, my point was going to be that like we get basically all of Neji's backstory around the time of the tuning exams, and then he's basically, other than telling you he's a Jonin now later in Shippuden, that's the only backstory you get, and that's like the common thread with like all of the fucking side characters. You get like a sad sob story or backstory with like all the side characters, and that's kind of the only development they get for the rest of the series, including Shippuden.
Yeah. Like their backstories are definitely like Neji especially, like boy has a swastika on his forehead.
I forgot.
Because he's like essentially a slave to the head family, the head Hyuga family. He's just part of the branch because his father was the twin brother to the head of the family, and his father had to sacrifice himself for like a political thing. It's pretty messed up. I would be as angry as he was too. He was an angry child. And these are children. We're talking about like under 15s here. Like I think the oldest is 15, and that's Neji's team. Like Rock Lee, 10 and Neji are like 15. Everyone else is like between 12 and 13, which puts things into perspective a little bit.
But it's also a shonen, so kind of like, whatever, age is whatever. I know Neji has like Witcher senses.
He has the Byakugan.
That's it. That's what it's called.
That's Witcher senses.
It's his specialized where he gets to see things special.
Yeah, it's one of the first
X-ray vision.
That and the Sharingan are two of the first Kekkei Genkai that we learn about. Which is a fancy word for basically an ability that gets passed down through genes.
Bloodline limit.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, what's the next thing I know? I know Orochimaru becomes a thing, and I don't remember
He shows up during the
exactly what
exams.
he does. Yeah, I know
he
he's bad and he's a snake man.
The snake man, he used to be part of the Leaf Village. And then he's like, fuck you guys, you don't let me do what I want to do, and what I want to do is like war crimes and experimenting on people. So
yeah, or
right after the Chunin exams, he decides to attack his former sensei, who is the Hokage currently.
Yeah.
And then they have a giant fight.
Yeah, so
with a lot of snakes.
Yeah, I want to. Did I miss anything about Orochimaru daily? Like, jog my memory, because as far as I can remember, Orochimaru is one of the three legendary Sani. That being Orochimaru, Jiraiya, and Tsunade. And so basically, the backstory that they give you for Orochimaru is just like, yeah, he just kind of like decides to be evil one day. Like,
that's kind of
like they don't really give you a rhyme or a reason.
They give him like a vague motivation in that like his parents were killed in the war, but it's like everyone's parents were killed in the war. What's your problem? And he just becomes like all about like power is the only thing that is real in this world. And I want to be immortal also, so I'm going to be creepy toward young boys. Blech.
Yeah, it's very pedo, and I don't know. It comes across as like Heath Ledger's Joker, like I just want to watch the world burn sort of character for no particular reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about that in case I missed something watching the show, because
yeah, no, it's mostly just like that he has a big beef against the Leaf Village for like kicking him out, even though they did it for like completely understandable reasons.
Yeah.
Hot take, human experimentation is like not cool.
Well,
yeah, it's not great. I thought I actually recently rewatched only the episode where it's Gaara and Sasuke facing off during the Chunin exams, and it's the one where Sasuke goes up on the wall and pulls out the Chidori, and because everyone makes a huge fucking deal about it, and then he sprints down the wall and then like breaks through Gaara's like sand shell. But like what I didn't realize was that's when everything like in that plot line just kind of comes together, and like there are so many concurrent plot points going on in that episode that I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh yeah, yeah. Because while Orochimaru is fighting the third Hokage, who summons a giant monkey that he then turns into a giant wand. That's a thing.
Forgot about that.
It turns out that Gaara has Shikaku, which is the one-tailed beast. We don't know that there's multiple tailed beasts at this point. We only know that there's the nine-tailed fox, and we know that there's like, we don't really notice that he only has one tail because he only has one tail and he's like a raccoon thing. Yeah. So he basically goes unconscious, which allows the Shikaku to come out and start destroying shit. So for some reason, it's up to Naruto to summon a giant frog, which he then turns into a giant nine-tailed fox to fight Shikaku.
This is way later, though, isn't it? Or is this?
This is like all concurrent.
Wait, what? I am totally blanking on this part. I forgot about this.
So at some point, Orochimaru steals away Sasuke, I think.
Yeah.
Like Sasuke defects and works with Orochimaru.
Yeah.
And then Orochimaru dies at some point. I forget. I think either Sasuke kills him or he disappears or something. And correct me if I'm wrong on this, because I know Sasuke's whole emo thing is confusing unless you've watched all the episodes. He betrayed Orochimaru, and he was a spy this whole time, but also he doesn't want to join the Leaf Village because he has his own ends justify the means, and he goes off on his own vision quest to be even more emo.
Yeah. So yes. So basically, going from the Chunin exams, like honestly, the only major points are basically, I think Naruto goes up to train with Jiraiya essentially, and then he learns like Rasengan.
Mm-hmm.
But then like
the horny man.
And then concurrently,
horny man. Yes.
Sasuke, I think, basically like pulls further and further away, and eventually leaves the village. He gets the curse mark. Well, he gets the curse mark against his own will, but then eventually takes it over and he seeks out Orochimaru, and then
during the Chunin exams.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, this is some steroid shit. This is like a lot of power." And you know what I want?
So
power.
Sasuke's like, "Holy shit, that's a lot of power." They run away, and basically Naruto and friends go after Sasuke, and that basically takes you through the end of the fucking first series. There's a bunch of like other villains and other fights like that they're sprinkled out throughout there that extend the whole series way longer than it actually probably needed to be, but it's there.
Yeah, the like Sasuke retrieval arc is just like boss fight after boss fight with like all the side characters, which is fun because I like the side characters. You have like another fight with Neji, you have Choji finally like showing his stuff, Shikamaru, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then yes, Robert, to your point, Sasuke goes with Orochimaru basically for a lust for power, but he was never like super sold on the idea. He just basically worked with Orochimaru until Orochimaru gave him like the power that he wanted.
He like outright says it too, and Orochimaru's like, "That's okay, you can be tsundere if you want," because he's always like, "I'm just doing this for power. I just want power.
Yeah.
I need to kill my brother. I need power."
Yeah.
Right, but his brother's actually a good guy this whole time, right? But you think he's supposed to be evil?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, they do like him and who's this shark dude friend? I forget. Kisame show up in the original series, and they kind of like fuck shit up in the village to like kind of like, hey, we're here, we're really powerful, and Jiraiya fights Itachi, and then they escape. And yeah, I mean they basically go back and forth, and Itachi's made out to be this like greater evil, and he basically sets up the whole Akatsuki thing that happens in Shippuden. Is basically the main reason why he's there. And his whole Genjutsu thing that he can do that's really fucking cool because he can torture people through the power of Genjutsu, even though it lasts only 10 seconds.
Oh, doesn't he do that thing where it's like you're being cut like one little cut at a time for 1,000 cuts? Isn't that his thing?
And it's like hit 10 seconds feels like 10,000 years basically. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
the first time he demonstrates it, it's Kakashi, he's crucified, and he just like whoop stabs him like in the abdomen like a million times, and then you blink and he's like all down, and his buddies are like, hey, what happened? You just like zoned out for a minute.
Interesting. So I think the original series ends. Okay, I guess to set up the parallels, right? Well, Naruto trains with Horny Toad Man, and Sasuke trains with Orochimaru. Sakura trains with Tsunade, and that's the only time we're going to mention Sakura in this hour.
Fuck you guys. Okay, Sakura was done so goddamn dirty by Kishimoto. That's my, like, looking back, I'm like, wow, Kishimoto's pretty sexist about a lot of things.
Probably, yeah.
And that's one of the main reasons why, like, Bort sucks, because none of the pairings make sense, because it was just like, I don't know, throw them together.
Yeah. So Kishi sets up to, like, what potentially could be several different ships throughout the series, both of them, and completely just, like, throws a lot of them aside when there was actually, like, chemistry between two characters. And also the stuff that, like, the ships that you know are going to happen, i.e. Sakura and Sasuke, Hinata and Naruto, those feel extremely shoehorned. Because first of all, you don't even really understand that Hinata and Naruto end up together unless you watch the fucking movie, which is like...
Yeah, so I was gonna say, isn't there a movie that ships them?
It's like
not even like in the actual...
They had to go out of their way to write the fucking a movie about it, because otherwise in Shippuden, it's just like, yeah, they just end up together. I know there's no chemistry there, but they kind of end up together.
But they do.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, the closest we get for chemistry between them is the pain fight, and that was kind of it, if I remember right. But yeah, Kishi sucks at romance.
It's even more bare bones in terms of like Sasuke and Sakura. So like for the longest time, the one like character note of Sakura was like she likes Sasuke.
Yep.
And that was it.
Yep.
But then like she did grow as a character, because she became like this very powerful figure, and she didn't have any of this bullshit like QB stuff inside her or ridiculously OP Kekkei Genkai. She just like worked her ass off to become as powerful as one of the legendary Sannin, and like no one gives her credit for that.
Nobody does. But the thing, I think part of it though too is because like towards the end of Shippuden, it was all about, hey, look, this character's getting this flashy new jutsu. And then Sakura's just like, hey, I punch hard.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like that's Kishimoto really shafting her, because like Naruto and Sasuke also train under the legendary Sannin, and Naruto. Yeah, thank you. And Naruto, he gets all these cool powers. He gets Rasengan and Windmill Rasengan, and the Rasengan where the clones help him make a bigger Rasengan.
And basically, it's just all Rasengan.
It's all Rasengans. And then Sasuke gets. I know he can summon a god, or he becomes a god, or something Susanoo.
Yeah, the perfect Susanoo, and then he can like infuse it with the Mataratsu, which is the black flame, and then Chidori,
all that. And it's like, that's all really cool. What does Sakura get? Punch good and heal good, because she's a woman and women heal, so she could heal good. That's it. Oh, and she gets she gets Tsunade's diamond in her forehead at some point, and I don't really know what that does.
It actually does serve a purpose. It's where all the power is stored.
Right.
So that's just like an incredible well of like chakra and power, like just like able to be released at any point. And basically it was just a way so that the animators / Kishimoto could make like something cool happen when like, oh shit, now it's happening.
It's getting real.
The marks are there. She released her chakra. But that is essentially like the coolest thing that happens with Sakura. She probably has her peak at really early in Shippuden when she fights Sasori, one of the Akatsuki. And that's just kind of the first time we see how much that she has made progress since the last time we saw her in the main series. And even, which is really cool, but she doesn't have the same ramp up that then Naruto and Sasuke do. Like, it's like they started
No.
Shippuden all on the same, like, wow, we're all really powerful level. And then Naruto's like, oh, I'm gonna start training, like, with the Sage Chakra and stuff. And Sasuke's like, oh, I'm gonna, like, get my Sharingan powers unlocked. And then Naruto's like, oh, I'm the Sage of Six Paths now. And Sasuke's like, oh, actually, I'm the... And Sakura's still just, I punch good.
I punch.
Hey guys, I'm still here. Guys, I'm over here.
I'm still here.
I love Naruto. I love Naruto now, but never mind. I like Sasuke.
So to bring it back to my definitive timeline of Naruto, I think the original Naruto, doesn't it end with Sasuke and Naruto fighting each other on top of the two statues? Is that a thing?
Yeah, both series end that way in different contexts.
Right.
Yes.
But the first one ends that way, and I don't remember who wins, nor do I care, because then the screen goes to black, and then a couple years later, Shippuden happens. It's Naruto Z.
Yeah,
Yes.
basically. And so for those listening who haven't seen Naruto, I don't know why you're listening to this, but you can basically skip to Shippuden after that fight happens. All the rest of original Naruto series is all filler.
Wait, hold on. Are you telling me that isn't the end of the original Naruto series? Because I had assumed it was.
No, there is 80 episodes worth of filler.
There's a lot of filler. Okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb though. There are some parts of that filler that I really enjoy. There's an episode like where it's just 100% Shino, like, you know, the guy with the bugs.
The Bug Man.
And the Bug
Yeah.
Man, and it's just about trying to make him laugh or something, or he laughs.
I remember that.
I forget. And there's some decent openings during that time, like opening themes that are really like the kind that it's like look in the distance, think about Sasuke, kind of like opening and ending themes.
Is this your sneaky way of bringing up what your favorite opening theme is?
Okay, so my favorite opening,
Mm-hmm.
it's a tie between the opening that was used during the Sasuke retrieval arc. It's Seishin Kyoso Kyoku. And then my other favorite one is the second opening theme for Shippuden, which is Bluebird.
Mm.
I have never heard any of the Shippuden ones because I never watched. Well, I've seen like the first opening. Like I said, I stopped and started reading the manga, so my knowledge of Shippuden
the first
openings.
Shippuden opening, I think you'd like because it's just like it's like rap. It's like
Nice.
yo, get your feet stomping, like they say that in English.
Hell yeah.
God.
Well, it's part of how you do a jutsu, I think, right?
Sure.
Yeah. You stomp your feet and you start earthbending.
Yeah.
This is the
It's
right
like
show,
Stomp
right?
the Yard, but Naruto. Okay, so while we're on it, I guess my favorite Naruto song that I didn't realize was a Naruto song until I saw the definitive list of them is Silhouette by Kanabun. And it's the one that goes like Ishan Yoshin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole thing.
Oh yeah. Okay, yep.
That one, yeah.
Wait,
Hmm.
isn't that a Boruto opening?
I think it's a Naruto. I don't know. I've just heard the song because I listened to J-Rock. So just like
Okay.
there's so many songs I've found out as like, oh, that's an opening for X anime theme.
Yeah.
Well, I've never seen Boruto, and I know that song, so I think it's an original Naruto opening.
Okay. It's somewhere in my head. But yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my favorite, and I know it's objectively better than all of those ones because it's my favorite, and I haven't heard some of those other ones.
Right.
So this is obviously the best one, the one I'm about to say, which is Haruka Nakata by Asian Kung Fu Generation.
Kung Fu Generation.
Okay. Colin
Isn't it
/
Haruna
listeners.
Kanata?
Haruka Kanata. Wait, yeah. Something like that. But Colin, have you heard / listeners, have you heard the video that will be linked below of German American Idol? So like German Idol? I don't know. But anyway, this man's comes in and is like, I'm gonna sing this song called Haruka Kanata. It's from this anime called Naruto.
No.
And
Oh no.
okay, cool. Like I'm up for it. Like, you know, mixing things up. He does not speak Japanese. He just like sounds it out. So he's just like, Humi, kuma, dana, 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 sasora yo.
Oh, I know that song, actually.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a Naruto
He's trying
opening.
his hardest, but it's so great after they're like, okay, stop, wait. Do you speak Japanese? No. Do you know all the lyrics? No. Thank you for your time. Bye.
That's so embarrassing.
Not as embarrassing as what's his face, William Hong,
Yeah.
American Idol guy.
So, quick anecdote.
Oh,
I
no.
don't know how much you guys know about American Idol, but they vet the fuck out of people before you even walk into that audition room. Like,
Yeah.
Somebody had to meet with this guy, right? Like some sort of like executive producer, etc., and like discuss the song that he was going to sing, which is Haruka Kanata, and be like, okay, like, yeah, you can go on the show. They had like they approved that.
Are you trying to say that they set this man up for failure?
How could they?
Yo, it would be
Shame.
really hilarious if this dude came on this show and fucked up this Japanese song.
So, speaking of setting up for failure, so then Shippuden starts.
Yes.
And, okay, so I'm going to be honest, I don't remember. The only thing I remember from the beginning, I think, of Shippuden is there's that one Akatsuki member who has like a
Clay.
mouth in the palm of his hand. Yeah, I don't really know much else
It's
about him.
Dodaro.
I just remember
Dada.
that detail. Yeah, that guy.
And there was so many fan comics of just like, he could make out with himself.
And so pain happens. And oh wait, no, hold on. Jiraiya died,
Wait.
or does Jiraiya die afterward?
So hold on.
How are we spelling pain?
Well,
Because
both
in general,
ways.
yes.
Yes, in general, yes. But I mean the edgy one who says "Almighty push."
Almighty push. So beginning of Shippuden, basically it's like, I'm Naruto and I just came back from training.
Oh, right. Also, everyone's older now.
Yeah, and everyone's older now. Time skip happens. And basically, yeah, so they're like, yeah, hey guys, look, all your friends from the original series, they're back and they're older now and they can do stuff. They can do cool stuff. And hey guys,
New
remember
outfits.
the bell thing from the first series? We're going to do that now, but like it's different because Sasuke's not here and we have this new guy that does like inky.
And we're sad.
Yeah, well, I don't even remember his name.
Oh yeah,
Sai.
Discount Sasuke.
Yeah,
is
Sai.
Sai. They get a discount Sasuke
Yeah.
who's just a different kind of emo boy.
Yeah,
Who does paintings.
Saisuke.
Sai.
And he also wears a
crop
crop
top.
top, which I thought was very, very fashion forward for the time.
Oh, you know somebody like in the Naruto fandom was just like, oh my god, he's husbando now because crop top.
Yeah.
Crop top.
Yeah. Anyway, so they do the bell thing and they're like, remember this guys, but it's not the same because Sasuke's not here. And then basically Naruto finds Sasuke one time and is like, Sasuke, why don't you come back to the village with us? And Sasuke's like, Naruto, you're a pussy. And yeah,
Because they had this weird idea in their head that if they could find Sasuke, it would be like a rescue. It would be like, hey, like we got you. You can come back now. But then Sasuke's just like, y'all fucking
the fuck?
No.
no.
What are you guys doing?
What were you?
guys
what
are
were you expecting from me?
You guys are fucking simping so hard right now.
Dude, I have a fucking sword now. I don't need your ninja bullshit.
Because he has a sword now.
Yeah, Kusanagi.
Which is how you know he's changed.
Yeah, I thought that was the coolest shit that Sasuke got a sword. I was like, yeah, swords.
And he has a deep V.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
His
You can get to
outfit
see his
is like
ass,
a very
yeah.
deep V.
TV, and then
And
he's got one of those giant knots around his waist like Orochimaru does.
Yeah. All right, so I'll be honest. The first thing I remember from Shippuden is either Jiraiya dying or the pain fight. I don't
That's-
remember which comes first.
That's like halfway through the series, I think. That's like pretty
A
far.
little bit down the line.
Yeah.
So y'all need to fill it in then.
Okay.
I mean, we get a lot of fighting basically with the Akatsuki.
Yeah.
Like,
Essentially, we finally learn that the Akatsuki, with their really cool cloaks that I totally had one of, are after the tailed beasts. We learn that there's more than just the 9-tailed fox and the 1-tailed Shukaku. There's a ton of them,
Yeah.
And they're
A bunch of Jin
extracting. Yeah, they're extracting the power from them. So they do that. They do that to Gaara, who is now the Kazekage. He's basically what Naruto desperately wants to be.
Oh wait, Gaara, you said?
Gaara, yeah.
Yeah. Wait, wasn't it? Is it the Kazekage?
Yeah, because wind.
For wind, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I get them all mixed up because there's like Mizukage,
Yeah.
Hokage, or something else. Yeah, I can't think of them all.
Or as my friends like to say, Hokage.
Hokage.
The Hokage.
Hokage.
The Comic-age.
The Kazkage.
Kazkage.
But he gets revived by like his aunt, grandma kind of person. Granny Chio. Anyway.
Yeah.
So Gaara dies.
Gaara fucking dies, but then he comes back.
When the fuck does Gaara die? I don't remember this. I don't remember this.
When they extract the Shikaku from him, they do get the power of the Shikaku. He's fucking dead.
Oh,
but
I
Granny
guess that's
Chio,
right.
she's a really great healer, and she gives her life to bring him back from the dead.
Gaara
And
has
it's like
a really
very sad. It's a sad fucking moment.
Gaara just has such a weird character arc. He's like so like I'm gonna kill everyone in the original series, and then suddenly he's just like, I feel empathy now.
He feels empathy now.
Yeah.
Hey, Pitch. Is Gaara the Zuko of Naruto, or is that Sasuke?
That's not. Sasuke never gets a redemption arc, as far as I'm concerned.
Sasuke, we'll get to Sasuke in a second, but Sasuke is fucking garbage. Like,
so
as a character.
Does that make Gaara Zuko?
Gaara is the Zuko. He becomes like very like everyone hates him in the Sand Village, and then later they're like, oh my god, he's like our protector. He's really great. He's really powerful. We really like him. He plants flowers. That is canon. He plants flowers.
Is it filler canon or canon?
It's canon.
Canon. Gaara.
There's a picture of him with flowers.
Gaara becomes a really fucking badass character. Like,
yes,
because he gets the power to do basically diamond jutsu, which is basically an evolution of sand. And it's fucking broken. Crazy. Yeah, like it's so broken.
But so then after Gaara, they figure out, okay, they're going to go after the other tailed beasts, so we need to go to the other places where those guys are. And that's how they keep running into more Akatsuki members. And like Shikamaru and his team run into Hidan and Kazuku, or Kakuzu? Kazuku, that's family.
Kakuzu.
They run into the family.
Yeah, Kakuzu. It's because he's the dude with all he has like fucking 8 hearts or some shit, right?
Yeah, so he's unkillable because of how many, you have to find his hearts.
Yeah.
He's like a Raggedy Doll man.
Yeah, so like, a lot of this is just
tentacles.
Exposition, and there's a lot of fights and a lot of different characters fighting, and a lot of different Jinchurikis getting their what the fuck? I don't even know what they call the
beast.
monsters. The tailed beast sucked out of them. And yeah, am I missing anything major? Because up until like the pain, like we get into pain and stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot of training happening. There's Sage mode.
Yeah, it's just
Colin,
a lot of little skirmishes. And sorry, go ahead.
Are you telling me that by me remembering only the pain thing, I didn't have to worry about anything important?
There is like a lot of exposition that happens up until the pain fight that I quite frankly am not like remembering all of. I just know that basically everyone fights, like all of the Akatsuki members fight someone at some point. And it takes a long time.
Because then simultaneously, Sasuke is doing his thing. And at some point, he kills Orochimaru.
Right.
And then is like, I'm doing my own team. And I'm also joining the Akatsuki at some point.
Yeah, he's like, I'm kind of joining the Akatsuki, but I also have like Sasuke in the Band of the Hawk thing going.
Yeah. We will be Taka,
Yeah.
which means
Hold on,
hawk.
that's a Berserk thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or am I thinking of Blood of the Hawk?
No, I mean it's Band of the Hawk is definitely a Berserk thing. I was kind of like playing it on it there, but like
Oh, God. Okay, I thought you meant that was an actual
no,
thing.
no, but his team is
Naruto.
called Hawk. It's called Taka.
Yeah.
Oh,
And guess
Jesus.
what? He has a because it's a team. You have to have at least one female character in it. And
Karin?
guess what? Her main character trait is
Healing.
she likes Sasuke.
My next guess was cooking.
Yeah, so she like Karin. That's what that was her name,
Karin.
right? Yeah. It looks
Karen.
like Karen.
Karen.
Not Corin
Karen.
like my Discord username. She is like into Sasuke, but she's like voraciously into Sasuke. Like she is so fucking horny for Sasuke.
I mean, aren't we all?
And Sasuke is like a one-dimensional character.
Yeah, at this point, he's just like vengeance, vengeance, vengeance.
That's his whole
And then when he
character.
does get vengeance, he's like, shit, I shouldn't have wanted vengeance. Guess what? I've got to go get vengeance on someone else now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he does kill Itachi, right? Like that
Yep.
happens.
Yeah, so that's a
And
huge emotional big deal because I think it's somewhere around there that we actually learn Itachi is a good guy and we figure out why he slaughters the entire Uchiha village.
To get the special eyes. Well, the special eyes.
Well, no.
That's what he said.
Right. He said he did it to be more
And
powerful.
that is what, yeah.
It's not wrong. So like basically he like what Obito gives him one of his eyes, right? And that's how he gets the Mangekyo Sharingan.
I thought
Okay, so
Obito
what
gave
happened
Kakashi.
You're thinking of Shusui, who
Oh,
was his best friend, who actually, so Itachi was essentially like this huge, like insane prodigy. Like he was like a little bitty boy and running around with like essentially the Navy SEALs, the Anbu Black Ops.
right.
And all the while, the heads of the Leaf Village were like, yo, the fucking Uchiha are planning a coup. So you're going to be our man on the inside and tell us everything that's happening. And
Yeah.
Itachi's like, okay, I don't want a coup to happen because, people will die. Like, I have a little brother and stuff. He very much cares about his little brother. It's like hit home quite often.
Right.
So in the end, they're like, you're going to have to kill everyone to stop this coup from happening.
Well, yeah, because wasn't it like you do it or like we're gonna do it ourselves, right? And so like Itachi doing it himself was the only way he could save Sasuke.
Yes.
And
so
and what's like a lot of people forget too is it was the third Hokage who was in charge. So it was Sarutobi who was in charge while all this was fucking happening.
War crimes.
And
war
it was basically a
crimes.
giant war crime, and that's the only time it really gets brought up to my recollection. And like not once is anyone pissed at Sarutobi. Like not like
except for Sasuke, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Like forced his brother into this. But the way he got the special eyes is you get your special Uchiha eyes, which is the Mangekyo Sharingan, by killing your best friend. So Itachi gets his because his best friend Shisui was like, I figured out what you have to do, and I agree. Like, this is the only way that it's going to, happen. So here's my eyeballs. They do that a lot. They just fucking handle their eyes. Like,
yeah, it's just kind of like, I can just pop this thing out. Don't worry about it. Yeah, no big deal. Because I was getting confused because that's Shisui and Obito is the one who gives Kakashi his Sharingan.
Yeah.
Uchihas all look alike.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So then isn't that how Sasuke gets his Mangekyo by killing Itachi?
So wait,
Or no?
so Sasuke has like the incomplete Mangekyo Sharingan. Then I think he does fight Itachi, and then he gets the other Sharingan. So he does have like the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, which
because the way Itachi tricks him basically into fighting. I mean, he's obviously gung-ho for fighting, but he doubles down on this, like, I'm an evil villain narrative by being like, I'm going to take your eyes. That's why I'm letting us have this showdown. Like, I want your eyes. And then at the end, it turns out he's, like, completely blind, and he's like, I did this to save you. I've been protecting you all this time. I encouraged you to get stronger so that you could kill me one day and get my eyes. I love you. Goodbye.
Yeah, and so
and then he fucking dies. And then it's sad.
And then he dies, but then he gets fucking brought back to life by the Rene Tensei or whatever the fuck it's called.
Oh yeah, everyone gets brought back to life.
Yeah, everyone just gets brought back to life because
Yeah.
all your favorite characters are coming back for this big giant ninja war we're having at the end of the fucking series.
Yeah, it's a boss rush.
Yeah, it's basically a boss rush. In fan service. But no, yeah, so that basically, when that revelation happened, like, Naruto fans everywhere, at least me, was just like mind blown revelatory moment. Itachi's like actually the best character.
This will give a good you'll get this, Colin, about living in the Midwest. I was sitting in a Walmart. I was sitting on the floor of the like very scant book section of Walmart, which is like not even an aisle. It's like a little like kiosk.
It's like a nook.
And I was reading the volume of the Sasuke Itachi fight, and I got to the end and I just started bawling in a fucking Walmart. Like, I'm just this kid crying on the floor of a Walmart clutching this manga that I didn't even wind up buying because my mom said no.
Somebody comes over, like, after you leave, like, why is this book soaked?
Like, I had to stop reading because the tears were too much, because, like, Itachi was my favorite character because I was that edgy kid that was like, ooh, he's really dark, and I like crows and stuff, and that's what he's associated with.
Oh, yeah.
So that was, like, hit me real hard.
Yeah, he was, like, the goth emo character who, at the end, I was like, yeah, I'm blind and I'm sick, but, like, I love you, brother. I don't know. It was just so fucking grim, dark, but, like, I don't know. He was very relatable, like, I'll do anything for my sibling. So, yeah, best character, because good character development, and, yeah.
Who's your favorite character, Robert?
So, Naruto and Pain fight each other.
Sorry,
really, that's I really have no point. I have no idea when this happens, and I'm kind of at this point where I'm thinking, like, I don't really know why they're fighting. I don't really know who Pain is.
So
is
here's the
yes,
fucked up
yes.
thing.
He's like the leader.
So
he's like the leader of the Akatsuki.
Here's the fucked up thing, though. Here's where it gets uber fucked up, and I can't even explain it that well because, like, I'm going solely off of memory. So Daily, you're gonna have to help me out. So the Pain that Naruto is fighting is one of several pains. There are more than one.
Yes.
Because
aches and pains.
Yeah, aches and pains.
Oh, I get it.
So basically, there is a Wizard of Oz situation happening that's taking control of a bunch of different bodies that claim to be Pain. Yes. And I think there's 4 of them.
There's 6 Pains.
6 of them. Yeah. So basically, they're a second Akatsuki in and of themselves. They're basically the Team Pain, but they're being controlled by this dude, like, somewhere, like, don't look behind the curtain type of deal.
And I like that they justified it because, like, they have the edgiest fucking piercings imaginable, but that's how he's controlling them, so it makes sense.
They're chakra rods.
Super edgy. Yeah.
Yeah. The chakra rods, all the piercings. So it's basically a dude, like, don't look behind the curtain. It's just a man, blah, blah, blah.
He's in a tree.
Yeah, he's in a tree. And turns out he was, like, Jiraiya's, like, one of his pupils or something. And he was, yes. I don't remember, but, like, he basically has this whole, like, super villain monologue about how, like, you know, how can the world go about, like, not knowing pain? Everyone deserves to know pain, and blah, 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 blah.
That's why he named himself Pain. Wow, Kishimoto is a smart motherfucker.
Because his name is, like,
yeah, so basically, Naruto fights fake Pain, but it's like the Pain of the group that's technically leading the other fake Pains, so I don't know.
So he kills Pain.
Yeah.
And one thing I do remember thinking, like, right, one thing I remember being like, okay, that's actually some clever shonen shit, is how this is, so he masters, like, Sage Mode or some shit, where he basically gets eyeliner.
Yes,
and
that is the only benefit of mastering Sage Mode. It's just auto eyeliner.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Just turn that shit on and off.
But I remember it thinking like, okay, that's some clever shit because he sends off his clones to go and charge up his batteries somewhere else. And then they return to him and give him back his batteries. So it's not like temporary. And I'm like, that's clever. That's good. And then he kills Pain, I think. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, because he basically what happens is like Hinata gets fucked up by Pain because Naruto gets his ass whooped, and then Naruto basically goes like full on Kyuubi Kurama mode and like destroys Pain, basically.
Also, like half the village is like destroyed. In the
Oh yeah,
process
like
of
it's
all
just
this.
absolutely fucking decimated.
Yeah, doesn't Pain create like a weird giant meteor thing of shit?
He
of
basically
junk?
he basically throws small planets at the surface of the earth.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Okay, so then at what point is it Jiraiya dies?
this is like well before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't even think Jiraiya technically teaches him Sage Mode. Wasn't it the frogs?
Essentially it's like, okay, you're gonna go train with these frogs in Frogland, because there is a Frogland, which suggests that all the other summoning animals, they have their own individual like hangouts. Anyway,
Let me tell you, that is riveting.
He trains with the frogs, and I think it's while he's gone doing the training that Jiraiya dies. Is killed by Pain.
Because Jiraiya goes
really
to the village.
Fight.
The fight's great, and because the setup is Jiraiya, I think he goes looking for Pain, right, or something, and he goes to the village hidden in the mist, or it was the village hidden in the rain.
That's where the Akatsuki essentially started, because that's where he met these 3 orphans. Conveniently 3. One of them is a girl, and one of them is really into one of them, as per usual. And he's like, okay, I'll train you guys so that you can, defend yourselves during this, time of war, and it's very dangerous. And then one of them dies, and that's how the guy who eventually will become Pain is like, rah, destroy everything.
You should be a voice actress.
Rah, destroy everything. Could you really get like the anguish and like upset of like my best friend dying?
Yeah, I could really sense your pain.
So basically all that happens, and then Jiraiya ends up dying because basically I think Pain feels like he's wreaking revenge or some shit. And then the Pain arc happens, and then Konoha starts rebuilding, and some more political stuff happens.
Klonoa. He said Klonoa, the PlayStation 1 exclusive.
Konoha? How do you say it?
Konoha.
Konoha? Okay. Konoha starts rebuilding. And I honestly don't quite remember all the shit that leads up to the 4th Ninja War. Because I know, like, Toby is, like, this unassuming member of, like, the fucking Akatsuki, but then it turns out he's actually Obito.
He starts
and then
more of the strings once Pain is out of the way. And
right. And then there's the shit with Zetsu, too.
Also, there's a guy that's a plant. He is a plant.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to talk about him, because he's basically a Cyberman, right?
A what?
Yeah,
he's basically the analog for
he's Dragon Ball Z Cyberman. He plants himself, and he has like 1 billion clones.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. I didn't know who that was.
So the next thing I remember is Naruto meets a rapper who's the 8-tailed thing. Killer
Bee.
Killer Bee.
I love Killer Bee.
Yo,
wee! And Naruto goes on his vision quest because Sage Mode is now irrelevant, and he masters that form where he just is all yellow, like he's just big old yellow, just everything glowing.
Yeah, it's basically like like Killer Bee and his tailed beast, which is a bull octopus for some reason.
It's
almost all of the tailed beasts make sense to me except for that one. Like all of the rest of them have like some foundation in mythology, but then there's this, and which correct me if I'm wrong, I might not have just heard that story, but they're buddies. It's like, hey, I need to fight someone powerful, give me some chakra. And he's like, okay. Whereas Naruto and the nine-tailed fox, who we still don't know what his name is at this point, we learn what his name is, it's Kurama, but he's
From Yu
like,
Yu
fuck
Hakusho.
you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, is essentially their relationship. So then it's like, okay, you need to meditate and become friends.
Yeah. That's basically what it is. So it's basically like Naruto starts training to basically control or basically work with Kurama. And so then he like unlocks Kyuubi mode and then what eventually becomes Kurama mode. And then beyond that, like Sage of Six Paths, Kurama fucking mode. He literally does a form where he's like, it's like Kurama mode fused with fucking Sage mode. And it's like he has double pupils.
He literally has like cross eyes because in Sage mode he gets frog eyes, which is, like the horizontal line. But then in Kyuubi mode, he gets like, fox eyes, which is like
cat eyes
up and down.
Yeah.
So we have to combine that somehow.
It's a plus sign.
It's a plus sign.
It's subtle Christian metaphors.
The way he sees is like, would just be crazy, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the next thing I remember is, so while Naruto's on his vision quest / counseling session with Kurama, the ninja war breaks out. And everyone's killing each other. And I get, so they introduce all the other like Kages, and
the Kage
like the
summit
Raikage and shit,
happens.
and I don't remember anything about them at all. And then Obito summons all of the dead people, including Sasuke's great uncle Madara.
Yeah, like
Am I
great,
right so far?
like a lot of greats. He's the first Uchiha.
Right, he's like really extra edgy. And then all the dude who plants himself, he's like really fucking up everyone, like because he's just everywhere, and apparently no one can really kill him. And then Naruto arrives on the scene. And he's in his Super Saiyan yellow mode, and he just Kage Bunshins, and all of his clones just kill the plant dudes in one hit. And it's like that pretty typical like shonen, like, oh man, the hero is finally back. Am I on the right track so far?
I mean, yeah, there's a bunch of little details in there, like all the Hokages get brought back from the dead, and so you get to have like that moment between Naruto and Minato.
Oh, his dad.
Yeah, he figures out finally like who the fuck his dad is, like who his parents were, because no one told him that, and he couldn't figure that out for some reason.
You would think that'd be like in the history books.
I don't know, I forget why they decided like, let's not tell him anything other than, I guess, the idea that like the less people know that this ultra powerful creature is inside this very kidnappable child, the better.
Mm-hmm.
I think
that's
that
how
might
I
have
like
been
to
the main
describe
motivation.
my children.
Yeah, but like
very kidnappable.
Literally, they gave him like, they were just like fucking, I don't know, like as soon as he was able to start like fending for himself, which means making instant ramen, they just like left him on his own. This is all on the third Hokage.
What a piece of shit.
Yeah, so it is kind of weird that Naruto just kind of lives by himself because dead parents, whatever.
Also, his mom was the original keeper of the nine-tailed fox.
Right.
And they were buddies. They were like friends.
So basically, Naruto has his mom's friend trapped inside his body.
And also, Kurama never decides to say, like, yo, I was friends with your mom. Or, like, because they were, like, on good-ish terms.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, the stem of all this entire story, right, is, like, that fateful night that, eventually we learn Toby appears, right, who is Obito. And basically, Toby appears and unlocks Kurama from Naruto. And then, like, no. I think Naruto or was his mom.
So it was like, shit, she's going to give birth, and that's going to make, like, everything very unstable because reasons. And
Right.
so we got to make sure we got our shit down on lock. And then this masked man appears.
Right, which is recruited by like a half alive Madara?
Yes.
If I recall right, it's like he's like a half alive being barely held alive by like wood
it's
magic
like
or like Zetsu
tree.
something.
There's at the center of everything is like this essentially evil tree that is where Zetsu comes from, and that's how Madara has been alive this entire time. Wood becomes important.
Now that I think about it, it has
Shippuden.
a very
Yeah, I hate it.
yeah. It's that suddenly becomes important, and then Toby basically takes advantage and at least pissed off Kurama on the village, and that's who destroys the village, and that's why everyone hates Naruto now that he has Kurama sealed inside of him. Yeah, so they basically trace all the way back, give you all that fucking backstory.
We finally know.
And at this point, we get like right before the Ninja War happens, we get this like a fuckload of exposition that happens. Like there's literally a flashback within a flashback when Madara and the revived Ashirama, who's the first Hokage, like face off, and they literally like flashback to like the first time they fought, and then from there they flashback to them as kids, and then that's just kind of like the trend.
It's literally they make an explanation of like the first two ninja were brothers that then like became against each other and became enemies, and that cycle is doomed to repeat over every single generation. And so Naruto and Sasuke are this generation's like brothers that are fighting, and they're directly descended from them also because that's convenient. Yes.
Man, I missed out on a lot of bullshit background shit, huh?
Yeah. And that's basically why they eventually become entitled to the power of the Sage of Six Paths, because the Sage of Six Paths is like, isn't it like, well, wait, who's the Sage of Six Paths then? Because didn't he, was he a fusion of the two brothers? I don't fucking remember.
It was like the Sage of Six Paths, and then like the brother that was like too greedy, so he got like shunted, and that's the Sasuke brother.
Okay. I mean, yeah, because eventually it turns into like that's when Kaguya comes in and she's like the spirit of the source of all chakra.
That's like the moon. That's when I said the fucking moon. Because literally that's the symbology there. Kaguya is like the rabbit that's on the moon in Japanese folklore. And she also has like weird ear horns things. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's where I'm at with the story. I do remember reading a lot of the Ninja War shit and then kind of not absorbing most of it because it was just a lot of characters and a lot of names and a lot of backstories I didn't care about.
We have left out so much backstory and so many fucking characters they throw at you. Like we'd be here all night if we had to go through all that.
Kind of doesn't matter.
It doesn't ultimately no.
There's one dude who has like eyeballs all over him. That's all I remember of him.
Izanagi? Or some shit? Is that his name?
I don't know.
Danzo.
Danzo, that's
Danzo. Also, there's this guy named Danzo that wants to steal all the Sharingan. Just like in the back. He's been here the entire time. He's like a councilman.
Yeah, and he has some hand in some sort of conspiratorial political bullshit with the Kages. Because he becomes a Kage for a short time. Doesn't he become like the Hokage?
It's like he's like the acting because it's
the de facto Hokage.
Tsunade can't do anything right now, so I'm going to do it. Because Tsunade becomes the fourth Hokage. Yes, fourth.
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wait.
Yeah.
No. Fifth, because Yondaime was Minato, Naruto's dad. Naruto's dad.
Yeah,
so
Danzo's
they make a prequel series.
So Danzo was
Boruto's
the thing.
grandpa.
Yeah,
and then so I know Madara gets like really stupid powerful.
Yes.
Like it's kind of dumb, and then somehow he dies or something, but he can't die because he's undead. He's a zombie, whatever. So he disappears.
Evil tree.
Yeah, and then Kaguya comes up, and that's a thing I was just like completely unaware of because I stopped reading before Madara died or whatever.
Yeah, so they basically pull like I said, like a JRPG thing where they're like, Toby's the real bad guy. No, he's not. Madara actually is, and he's back from the dead. And then also Madara somehow has the power of the Sage of the Six Paths, and also so does Toby / Obito. But then like he's not the real guy. He's not the final guy. It's Kaguya this whole time. She's been pulling all strings, and she's the source of all chakra. Now we got to take on the source of all chakra, which is basically like the end of a JRPG when you face God. So yeah. Yep. They basically Sasuke and Naruto team up, like have a de facto team up session for the greater good. And that's how Sasuke basically gets all is forgiven, even though he's a domestic terrorist.
Yes. Also, can we talk about the fact that Toby / Obito's entire... First of all, like, we knew that a guy with a mask that only has one Sharingan, who could that be? Who do we know that only has one Sharingan and would wear a mask to hide his identity? Perhaps Kakashi's childhood friend, who gave his other eye to Kakashi because he was dying. Yes, we knew it was Obito the entire time, but we didn't know what his motivation was, that he would suddenly turn against, like, you know, his village and his friends. It was because of a girl that he is mad because Kakashi didn't protect the girl in their squad, Rin.
I fucking forgot about that because I was like racking my brain. I was like, why the fuck did Obito turn? I can't remember. And it was all because of a perceived crush between Rin and Obito.
Yes. And what's really crazy is I remember reading this and being like, bullshit, but it's true. And again, this is on the third Hokage, Mr. War Crimes. It used to be standard to make in the 3-man teams, there was always going to be a girl, because the hope was that the boys would get a crush on her and try to work really hard to impress her. And they would be brought together by their mutual crushes.
Horniness. Oh.
Horniness, yes. Mm-hmm. Literally, that was like a strategy of theirs. And I guess it fucking worked in some ways because they had emotions about it that carried over for years and years and years.
But isn't it like the opposite though with Sasuke, Naruto, and Sakura?
No one cares about Sakura. Naruto and Sasuke wound up caring about each other too much.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so basically after big fight happens, like shonen shit, fucking big battle, big jutsus. Oh my god, look at me, flying wizard, I can cast a giant jutsu, I'm more powerful, blah 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 blah. So all that happens, and then of course, like, how does the series end? Naruto and Sasuke have to fight again because they have a bitter rivalry that's been lasting this whole time.
That's the thing too, is that they don't have to. Sasuke's just like, let's do it, let's fight.
Clearly you don't understand. They do have to.
Okay.
Yeah. So they go at it. They go at it, and they jerk each other off so hard that their arms blow off. So that's basically it. I mean, it's big fight, well animated, and yeah.
I will say that is where I jump back into the series. So I remember hearing through the grapevines, oh hey, Naruto's about to end, and it's going to be the big fight between Naruto and Sasuke finally. And I'm like, all right, I'll just read these last 5 chapters. I feel like I didn't miss much, and clearly I didn't, I guess, except for the goddess of chakra, but that doesn't seem to matter, ironically.
Yeah. They're trying to make it matter in Boruto, which is probably why I stopped watching, is that they're like, okay, we threw a lot of stuff in there at the end, let's give more explanation to, like, the moon people and, like, Kaguya's people and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, there is such a metric fuckload of lore in Naruto. It's insane. Like, Masashi Kishimoto, like, really wrote the shit out. And there's a lot of stuff that they hit on in the anime that they don't even hit on in the fucking manga. Like they spend, like, an entire arc in the anime on, like, how Kakashi was in the Anbu Black Ops at some point. And, like, then they do an entire epilogue arc with all these different characters in the anime that they don't do in the manga at all.
Yeah, like 5 or 6 characters get their own light novels, including like Itachi, Kakashi, Shikamaru, Sakura, surprisingly. Not that there's a lot of content there, unfortunately.
Yeah, Sasuke gets his own, like, kind of epilogue arc. But the shitty thing was, though, is if you read the original manga, so like the Naruto and Sasuke final fight lasts maybe 5 or so chapters. And then like the epilogue for the entire fucking series is like maybe a half of a chapter in chapter 700.
Yeah.
Like they blow each other's arm off, and then it's just like, okay, here's everybody who ends up together, and then they rebuild the city, and Naruto is the Hokage now. Okay, bye. Thanks for reading.
Yeah, they do that thing where it's like, here's all the pairings, and also everyone has an iPad now, which that was the bigger plot twist to me, is just like, I'd kind of assumed Naruto was in this weird fantasy world, but now there's like computers.
And Naruto was always a weird thing when it comes to technology.
I liked the way they approached it because it was like very ramshackle, like a weird amalgam of like sometimes there's something that looks like a computer and a lot of time there's not. We have to communicate via hawk messenger. We don't have any way to like just like text someone. But then
we also have TVs.
There's TVs also. But then there's this huge jump in technology between Naruto and Boruto. And I get part of the point of Boruto is being like, okay, we're not at war anymore. We're not, being all sneaky and shit. Like, all the ninja world is essentially, like, on the same wavelength. Do we need to have, like, every single person trained to be a ninja in our society? No.
Yeah.
It's more like an elective.
Yeah.
I guess I want to be a ninja.
Yeah, I guess I want to be a ninja. Yeah, I mean, that's basically Naruto in a nutshell. There's a metric fuckload of extraneous lore that you can read about.
Yeah, I know Bort has daddy issues.
Yeah, because my dad's never here. It's always a clone.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's like, is my dad always here? I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's what fucks me up so fucking bad about Boruto, is because Naruto grew up without parents, and he was like, the thing that gives me strength is kind of like my found family, which is the village. I want to protect the village. And then he gets to protect the village as the Hokage. He achieves his dream, but then he neglects his immediate family to the point that his son has like, he's like, I'd rather not have a father. I wish I was like you when you were younger. And
Jesus,
it's like,
I didn't know
dude.
that.
Shit, dude. Like, literally, he says that at one point. It's like, shit, dude.
God
maybe it's a grand commentary on the whole, you're always going to grow up to be like your parents, maybe Kishimoto's that smart. Is Kishimoto still writing Boruto, or is there someone else?
I mean, it's Kishimoto.
It's a little of both.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, whoever's writing it, maybe that's the foresight they had. Like, oh, we're going to have this grand message about parenthood and how it's always a cycle.
Man.
Yeah. So, oh shit. So I wanted to get back to talking about Sasuke, because we haven't really talked much about Sasuke. So
Sasuke!
Naruto, obviously the show's fucking called Naruto, so naturally you focus on the character named Naruto, blah, blah, blah. Because so get this huge filled out backstory for all these characters in Naruto, along with Naruto himself. Even though Naruto is basically like, believe it, I am always like, my friends give me strength.
I'm gonna be Hokage.
And that's basically Naruto's entire motivation. And he gets a little bit more mature throughout the series, but basically, yeah, that's Naruto in a nutshell. Because they throw so many fucking characters in the show at you that no one character really has all that much depth, with the exception of a couple. So Sasuke, the other half of this big fucking rivalry that happens this entire series, is no deeper than a fucking cup of water, because all he is like, I want vengeance on my brother, and that's how Sasuke is until day fucking 1. And he's like, I want vengeance on my brother, and then he finally gets it, and he's like, oh well, shit, they killed everybody in my clan, so now I want vengeance on the village. And now I'm gonna get more powerful, and then I'm gonna basically, I mean, he kills innocent people, presumably. Like, he fucks up the village, and gets labeled as a fucking terrorist. Like, Sasuke is a terrorist, but lo and behold, Sasuke fights in the fucking ninja war, and it's like, all is forgiven, guys. It's fine. Like, Sasuke's cool, right, guys?
No.
Sasuke? Hey, guys, Sasuke's cool. He's fine. He can hang out.
So I remember too, I did read a little bit of the first few chapters of Boruto, and then I kind of hit a point where I was like, why am I doing this? So I stopped. But what I do remember is Sasuke is now a good guy in Boruto, right? But he's like this weird, like black agent who only reports like once a year in the Leaf Village, and he just kind of goes off and does who knows what the fuck. Like he's his own one-man Anbu thing.
He's just like a nomad, basically. He just wanders.
He feels too like it's like I can't really like hang out in the village after everything, which is like fair point. You can't. The only people that really like you are like Kakashi, not even really Kakashi anymore, but it's like Sakura and Naruto. And somehow in between there, Sakura and Sasuke procreate and have salad. But he's like a total deadbeat dad that like just shows up like maybe once a year, because like it's literally like Sarada has like very few memories of him, and at one point questions whether or not Sakura is her mom because she wears glasses. And also, you don't really seem to like mom that much, Dad. Like, I never see you guys like have any kind of affection toward each other.
There's a lot of fucked up parenting philosophy happening in this show.
Yeah. In other words, Naruto and Sasuke suck as dads. That's the moral of the story for Naruto.
Yeah, they need a fucking Piccolo in this show.
A good dad.
A surrogate dad.
Okay, good parenthood. Let's talk about Kakashi and Guy in Boruto. So in Naruto, Guy Sensei, you will have recognized him from the bowl cut and the very thick eyebrows.
Yeah, I know him. He unlocks the 12th gate and beats the shit out of Madara for like a second and then doesn't.
But then he's paralyzed. Like his legs don't work no more because of it. And so in Boruto, after Kakashi's done being Hokage, he essentially moves in with Guy, who has been kind of the Naruto Sasuke like healthy parallel, because they're like rivals but they're actually friends, and together, I don't know why without Kurenai, but they raise Kurenai's child, Mirai, who was Kurenai, and Asuma, who was Shikamaru's sensei, who died.
Wait, does Kurenai die?
Kurenai doesn't die, which is why I'm like, why are you raising her child without her? But I think Kishimoto just forgot that she existed.
She's like Launch.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like Launch. Launch just, I don't know. I have all these fucking characters.
God, dude, the ensemble cast in this fucking show is like inconceivably large. There's so many characters.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Daly, you remember the fucking the missed swordsmen?
Yeah, that didn't matter.
Yeah, they don't fucking matter. They were just kind of there.
That was really hyped up with the Zabuza arc, and it's like, oh shit, like if we see another like swordsman. And then it did pay off when it was like we saw Kisame, who was the second swordsman we had ever seen, but then after that, not so much.
Yeah, well, and I also saw Robert kind of wince at like Kakashi being Hokage. Yeah, so Kakashi is Hokage after Tsunade isn't. Yeah, so and then basically Naruto has to wait until Kakashi's done being Hokage to become Hokage.
And then it's Naruto's turn.
And then it's Naruto.
Yeah. And then he's Nanadaime Hokage.
Yeah.
So is that it? Did we do a Naruto, or did we still need to talk about all the filler?
No, we don't gotta talk
yeah, I mean that
wait. There is a filler I want to mention, because here's some depth to the Uchiha. Their summoning animal is apparently cats. And so at some point they go to like a cat ninja village. And in order to hang out there, you have to wear cat ears and a tail. And it's just a fan service episode, and it's great.
That's pretty good. Also, I ship Kakashi and Guy. They should be a gay couple.
They kind of are. I just think they're married. They raised a child together. Like, what more do you want?
Yeah. And that's the only worthy filler episode of the more than probably 120.
Yeah. Also, Kakashi really, really likes smut. He reads smut all the time.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah. With his good eye.
With his good eye. He gets both of his eyes back. And they're no longer like Sharingan. Naruto's just like bang, bada, bing, bada, boom. Eyes.
Wait, Naruto just gets like god powers like that?
Yeah. How do you think fucking Guy Sensei lives, dude? He does like, he opens like the 8th gate of death and he like does the evening elephant and his body is literally turning to ash. But just in time, Naruto's like, I'm the Sage of Six Pass, motherfucker. And so he's like, he heals Guy Sensei. He's like, dude, you're fine. You're good.
He's just like, here's all this chakra.
Yeah.
Here, I could spare a cup of energy for my good neighbor, Guy.
Yes.
Please
By
take
the
it.
way, like
Yeah,
like all during like this final fight, isn't like every single person has like 9 tails chakra like surrounding them?
What? You cut
Like
out.
during the but like during the entire final fight of the ninja war, like everyone has 9 tails chakra. Like everyone in this fucking army is under
Oh, that's
Naruto's
right.
personal protection.
Yeah, Naruto has like weird fucking like he's the best support in League of Legends ever kind of shit.
Yeah. Naruto basically
He buffs everyone.
he fucking buffs everyone and like heals out all the people and can make all these clones and like I don't know. Now Naruto is just god status by the end of the show.
Yeah, that's like the wettest dream shonen protagonist shit ever. Of like, I'm gonna be gone for a while, but then when I come back, I'm not just strong enough to beat everyone, but I'm gonna heal everyone and give them super defense.
That should have been a Sakura thing, like the infinite buffs should have been like, if you're gonna make Sakura into like the lone like healer person, then give her that much too.
Or maybe like the diamond in her forehead breaks, but like at the cost of her healing everyone. So she loses the power to do like all of her chakra stuff, but it's
Shit.
It's to save the ninja war. I don't know.
Oh shit.
Fucking goddamn. Naruto is a whole fucking thing. So we just summed up Naruto in pretty much an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the most condensed way you can summarize Naruto. Like the details that we gave. I'm sure you could get those details out faster.
Here it is. Naruto! Sasuke! That's it. That's all you fucking need to know.
That's pretty much
Yeah,
it.
pretty much.
Just watch Naruto Shippuden on YouTube. It's like the Oni NG like parody.
So that's been our Naruto Spoilercast. Tune in next week where I do the Bleach Spoilercast and go over all of Bleach and all of its filler episodes. And then the week after, we'll do One Piece.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
For the next 6 weeks, we will cover One Piece.
I don't know if anyone could convince me to watch fucking One Piece.
I don't know. It's all right.
He could do it. It's good. It's good.
I'm not
It's long,
stuffing 1,000
but it's
episodes into my eyeballs.
Yeah. I don't know. I read like the first 300 chapters back in the day. It's not bad. I mean, it's very like shonen. You know, I mean, it's special because it did it way back in the day. Nowadays, it's kind of like, oh, you know, yeah, shonen.
Yeah, shonen.
Yeah.
But that's been our show.
So our show Nen. Any last words here about Naruto from the biggest Naruto fans?
I don't know. If you don't want to watch the anime, just play the games. They pretty much sum it up. Just play all the Ultimate Ninja Storm games. They pretty much give you all you need to know.
That's like my first fighting game, I think. Yeah. I had this other I had a fucking Game Boy Advance Naruto game. It was great. Also, I love
Wait,
Naruto.
was it
like
was it the one that was like on a grid, and it was basically like Mega Man Battle Network but Naruto?
No, it was a platformer, but now I'm intrigued. So I know what I'm doing after this now. I'm gonna look for that.
Yeah, I know that's a thing. Yeah,
because I had
Wait,
I had Naruto sticker on my Game Boy.
I think that one's on the
yeah.
I think that was on the DS. Was that Path of Ninja?
Maybe. I mean, that sounds like really any
Something
Naruto
ninja.
Property could be. Yeah.
Did you know they're ninjas? Although they don't do a lot of sneaky stuff, come to think of it.
No, it's more like we're just gonna kind of like attack you with our giant wizard magic.
Yeah, flying ninja shit. Flying ninja wizards.
Naruto reboot.
But
Everything is just quieter.
it's all sneaky.
It's ASMR.
Believe it.
So yeah, go watch all of Naruto after hearing this podcast. Do yourself a favor. and tell us who your favorite Naruto character is.
Oh, that's right. Daly did ask me who my favorite Naruto character is earlier, and I feel like I should answer that because I feel like it was rude of me to avoid it. Definitely Midoriya Izuku.
What? Midoriya?
No,
Fucking
Colin.
God damn it. No.
You
From
mean
My
Deku.
Hero Academia. Deku.
Yeah, so here's the thing. There's so many fucking characters in Naruto. There probably was one named Midoriya, so I don't even fucking know.
Yeah, you remember that really that obscure character from that one filler arc in episode 80? Midoriya Izuku in Naruto.
God damn it.
Yeah.
There's a crossover episode in there
I
somewhere.
Yeah.
do remember.
But I think that should wrap up this weird episode 0, the lost episode, the secret locked away inside of a easily kidnappable child episode.
How to describe Naruto. Easily kidnappable.
Yeah. But yeah, that's been our weird little test run here of everything in Poderation. I don't really know how to end this.
I know how to end it. So, hi, Area 51. We know you're listening to this because you were told about the whole like Naruto run controversy. So yeah, you can include this in your PowerPoint when talking about Naruto running when a bunch of us weebs decide to basically just descend upon Area 51 and Naruto run for aliens. Thank you for kind of my TED Talk.
If this isn't a court of law, you're out of order.